this is JLB Sports TV. If you prefer me to idiots like Charles Barkley, keep watching me, just unlock to discover sports harmony.
Hey, I hope everybody had a good 4th of July. I certainly did, and now let's talk sports. Let's start off with some Wimbledon. Now, I'm not usually a big tennis guy, but I've been following Andy Roddick throughout the tournament, and he really had the match of his life yesterday at the All England Club. Pundits really wanted to see Roddick get barreled over by Roger Federer, giving Feds his 15th Grand Slam trophy, sealing the deal as the best tennis player ever. But on a day when the tennis god was playing his best, Andy Roddick matched him point for point, serve for serve. Roddick really should have wrapped up the whole championship by the second set, but he blew an open court volley, costing him a 6-2 lead for the set tiebreaker, and even more so, a 2-set advantage, and probably the match. But Roddick would fight back to force a 30-game 5th set. Andy Roddick refused to drop his serve all match long, playing with Federer-like elegance and touch on the court, while Federer was smoking aces all day long. But eventually the tennis god would prevail. Andy Roddick may have just played the match of his career, but it wasn't good enough, leaving an awful feeling for him, and I certainly feel for him. I was just happy to see an American back in a Grand Slam final. Now, it's so disappointing to see the best American player in the world, a guy with so much talent, to have experienced the prime of his career alongside the prime of the greatest tennis player ever, Roger Federer. Now in the US, we're used to being the top at just about every sport that we possibly can, especially tennis, where we had Pete Sampras for all those years. And to see Andy go right down like this was truly disheartening. But hopefully Andy will be back just as strong at the US Open next month, and hopefully he'll pick up his 2nd Grand Slam title. Now on to some Formula 1 racing news. FIA boss Bernie Ecclestone was recently quoted in the London Times saying that, in regards to democracy in Great Britain, it hasn't done a lot of good for many countries, including this one. He also stated that, in a lot of ways, terrible to say this I suppose, but apart from the fact that Hitler had gotten away and persuaded to do things that I have no idea whether he wanted to or not, he was in the way that he could command a lot of people, able to get things done. Ecclestone was also quoted saying, "In the end he lost, so he wasn't a very good dictator." Ecclestone also said that the West had been wrong to dispose Iraq Saddam Hussein, saying that, well, he was the only one that could control that country. Now this was all in context, comparing a strong leader like Hitler, supposedly, to former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and Max Mosley. Mosley is the current outgoing head of Formula 1's governing body. Ecclestone has also been quoted in the past saying that women should dress in white like all other domestic appliances. Now honestly, what the hell, Bernie? What the hell? Most people in Formula 1, including us fans, already hate you, and now you open your stupid, arrogant mouth and spew remarks that can be interpreted as insensitive and anti-Semitic. Sure, you think it was a misunderstanding, but was it really necessary to compare Hitler, to cite him as a strong leader? Why couldn't you cite Winston Churchill or FDR or other strong World War II leaders? Why Hitler? That just seems, it's so surprising and so stupid. There are tons of other leaders you can compare him to. Again, why Hitler? A Nazi. Bad. First your buddy Max Mosley, a guy who was family friends with Hitler, gets caught up in a Nazi prostitution sting, and now this? Do you want everybody in the world to think that Formula 1 is run by a bunch of Nazis? These comments are honestly the last thing that Formula 1 needs right now. First of all the rich teams tried to separate from Formula 1 to create their own Super League because you're an idiot and keep changing the rules every season, seemingly to spite these rich teams. Which doesn't really make sense how the rich teams, the Ferraris, the Williamses, the BMWs, the Mercedes McLarens of the world, they're the rich teams. They put people in the stands. I'm a Ferrari fan because I like Ferraris. I've paid to go see Formula 1 races in Canada to watch Ferrari race. Secondly, people in the US already hate Formula 1 after the debacle at Indianapolis, and now they hear some British bloke making insensitive comments. I love Formula 1, but I hate to see this out-of-touch dip in power. Off with Ecclestone and Mosley's heads. These guys have been in power too long, they're pissing off the fans, they're pissing off the Jews, and they're pissing off the teams. It's time for them to leave. And now it's time for some...
Cool Swatch.
So right now, Albert Pujols is hitting a 336 with a 460 on base percentage and a 739 slugging percentage, along with 31 home runs, 82 RBIs, 66 walks, 34 strikeouts, 10 stolen bases, and 20 doubles. Absolutely incredible stuff. Right now, he's on pace to hit 60 home runs and that would give us our first 60 home run hitter since, well, I guess, I don't know, maybe Sammy Sosa a couple years ago, or maybe it was Bonds, I don't remember, but our first non-steroid using home run hitter since Roger Maris in the 60s. What's even more impressive to me is that he's putting up these ridiculous numbers in a lineup where he just completely lacks protection. He's along with maybe Colby Rasmus and Yadier Molina, and maybe a couple other guys, he's really the only competent hitter in that entire lineup. Which makes me wonder, and my question to you, the viewers, today is, what would Cardinals first baseman Albert Pujols do if he was inserted in the New York Yankees lineup? If you take Teixeira out because he hits 3, and put Pujols in there with A-Rod hitting behind them, how much better would Pujols' numbers be? Just because he'd have protection, he'd see theoretically better pitches, and he'd have more guys in front of him so he could get more RBIs. And that's all for today, this Monday, July 6th. I'm Justin Block for JLB Sports TV. If you like what you just saw, please subscribe.